Hi, everybody. Welcome to my show. Now, today I have somebody with me. His name is Pablo. Now, the reason you can't see him is because obviously we're closing in his identity. He doesn't want to be recognized and be seen by anybody. And part of the reason is he will let you know in a few minutes why he's here and why he's here to tell everybody regarding, as we spoke before, about body fat and people who are overweight, and is obviously is increasing as the government is predicting it's going to be a rise in the further next 10 years. So Pablo is here to let us get an understanding of how he himself feels, what got him there, and why he cannot shift from where he is. So we're going to figure out something like that, and hopefully we'll be able to help him in the end. Now, if some of you out there listening are probably while you're watching and you feel stressed, you feel hurt, you feel some emotional thinking regarding this program, please take some time, relax, maybe pause it for a bit and then watch it again. So you may learn something today. So Pablo, coming to you right now, I can see, obviously nobody can see you, but I can see you. Don't worry, I'm not gonna let them know your identity. However, tell me first, from the beginning regarding fat, because a lot of people out there are confused in a sense, and we are getting an increase on people's weight, and as we're getting children, older generations, so it's the entire population that are increasing quite a lot, and there's a few of me, obviously. But I want you to tell us and tell the viewers out there what is your everyday life and where you are today.
So my everyday life is you have given me plenty of advice not to eat carbs. I'm very lazy. I don't cook my meals. My mum cooks my meals. And if she is not feeling well, I will order the food out because I'm lazy and will not cook the food.
Okay, so let's go now. I'm going to pinpoint some of the questions and all that. Regarding food, do you cook? Can you cook?
No.
Okay, you can't cook. So that's one bit of a problem and all that. Would it be, let's see, if you cannot cook, so basically you're going out, what you're saying?
I mostly cook, eat at home, right? But like when I do sports on a particular day, I almost every time have a Subway. Go on the way back from home, have a Subway. Literally today, I had food at home. I was going to eat the food at home, but I made like a deal with myself saying, oh, if the bus is taking too long, I will buy the Subway and then go home and eat it. Like the Subway for me, like I think it's bad because I think it's not healthy, but it's not as bad as other unhealthy foods. So I make it like as if, oh, it's alright, it's not as bad. You can have it more often, but I think it's not good the way I have it.
Okay, so you've mentioned something that you're aware. This is the one thing I think with everybody. I think you guys are aware that you're eating unhealthy, but you still do it. So my question to you is, why do you feel, if you know that eating a Subway every time you go, I don't know, play football, whatever you just mentioned, why do you feel that you have to have it? Why is it that you can try to cook your own food and follow, a sensible diet?
Because it's like comfort. Like I like the sandwich. It's easy. I don't have to do anything. I go there, get it, go home, eat, relax. Then have a bath. It's all comfort. That play a bit safe.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. I thank you for your how should I put it? Well, it's funny how you mentioned the word comfort and you're playing it safe, but also it's easy. And I think when I look back at that, that sounds kind of like almost every other person out there. So there's no difference between you and someone else. And I think the difference has to do with about putting the work into it. And I think you have to find a goal to try to get yourself into that framework to be able to cook your own food and get that discipline. So what about the gym? Do you even go to the gym? I know you play football. You just mentioned you play football. Anything else active you do?
I think that's pretty much it with the football I do. I feel as if, like on the way here, I was thinking about this interview and I thought of a scenario that even if I had all the money in the world, had a gym in my house, personal trainer, had a chef, I still think I I wouldn't be 100%. I still probably fail. It's all in the mindset, I would say. I think I don't have the right mindset.
Right. So, but also what it seems to me like you're actually, even if you had all those things, which a lot of celebrities out there have a personal trainer, a chef, and such, because you're unable then to see that, what you're kind of saying is you accept where you are and you almost kind of like feel, yeah, that's okay, which is not obviously because I think once, hopefully, you won't end up with diabetes type 2 and such or some other illness because of your overweight. But I feel then that you need a certain push and a different mindset of where you are, kind of like hit rock bottom to be able to say, wait a minute, I need to change. So I think it's about change, that you seem, it sounds to me like you like to stay where you are. Any changes will kind of be difficult for you, even if it's a small thing. Is that what you're saying?
I think it's like more like playing it safe. I just play it safe. Don't take risks. As in risks as in, oh, it's too hard. I won't do it, it's too hard. So I just stay as I am. In a sense, it's kind of like I've given up.
Right. That's what it sounds like. No. So when you look at somebody like me, right? So I've been training since what? Wow. So as long as I can remember, quite a long time, folks. So don't quote me on that. But I say about 30 years. So when you look at somebody like me, right? Do you then feel insecure about yourself, or do you think, "Ooh, I actually want to try to see if I can get some muscles like Elvis, or maybe be as active or fit as Elvis," or do you say, "Oh, there's no way I can reach that"?
I think it's more, I don't think any of those two things, but I have an arrogance.
And that's a problem. And that's the problem there, the arrogance. Folks, I want you to remember that word arrogance. See it in a context of you think you know best. When you're in a situation, yeah, you don't. So the fact that you don't see that, that's a difficult one. Because you should be able to see that and say, right, what can I learn from Elvis? What can he teach me? Because that's normally what people will do. When I'm in the gym, there's now every one person that's in that gym, male and sometimes females, will come to me right away. Oh, how did you get your bicep? How did you work on your chest and all? What can I do? What do you eat? They ask me questions day in, day out. I get so pissed off by that. But that's a good sign, you see, because they want to get somewhere. They're seeing something and they want to get it. So when you're looking for a goal, if you want it, you go and ask that person. If that person is at the top, you want to know how they get. It's like a rich person. You don't ask a poor person how to become rich. You ask a rich person. You want to get to that. But you, on the other hand, are saying something like, I know it's there, but I'm too arrogant. Is that what you're saying to ask?
You don't need to be. It's more like, oh, let me not think about it. Maybe I can do it one day.
All right, that's a good, so let me not think about it. See, I think that's the excuse. Not if you don't think about something, then you're not gonna feel it. That's what you're kind of saying.
It's like procrastination.
Yeah, you keep thinking about it that you're gonna do it, but you don't actually do it. So okay, so do you like? Okay, I'll give you a good example and all that. Maybe this one is. So when you are on the streets, do you think about the way you look and how people see you, or you don't?
Not like on a scale like to 1 to 100, probably about 12, 13%.
You don't.
Like 100 being I think about it constantly, 0 nothing, like 12, 13.
Right, and that's another problem. Okay, I'll give you another scenario. So I'm wearing a vest now, In America, it's a tank top. So, would you wear this? So, if we had this interview, would you wear it?
If it was loose around the belly area.
Ah, right, to cover yourself. Okay, that's another scenario. I think a lot of people use that, using clothes as a good example. So, it seems to me, right? It's all about excuses, and it's about playing it safe, and it's about if you enjoy the food, right? So what about the other? Are there any other obstacles, like people around you, family members, that don't contribute to you trying to, let's say, keep healthy, looking your best? Are there any other influences that bring you down?
Apart from your thinking. I think maybe my mom, she could be, but maybe this is making me making excuses, but if I would have to say, is maybe my mom could be a bit more energetic and enthusiastic when it comes to healthy eating and be more enthusiastic in, okay, let's do this, let's cook that chicken breast, let's cook that broccoli. I'm not gonna allow you to eat this. Be more strict. That's the word I'm looking for. Be more strict with the.
Okay. So, but then it also has to depend on you, whether you're willing to stick to it. Because if you're asking her, it's about you wanting. So if to me, if somebody wants something to achieve something, they have to be willing to sacrifice it. And I think you're kind of saying it where you're depending on somebody else instead of you looking at it and saying, do I want this? I will do it. So I'm guessing for you also food, because of the taste, like my food, you probably think has no taste.
Um, it's not about not having taste. It's more about not being filling for me.
Right. Well, okay. So how many meals would you say you have in a day?
Three, two.
Okay. I have 6 meals a day. 4 meals. So if it's not filling, if that won't fill you up, then nothing will fill you up. The reason you're saying it's not filling is because it doesn't have the taste buds, which is sugary, high in fat and oil, and other flavors, right? That you will probably like, and millions of other people out there have the same issues. I eat 6 meals a day, and I still look like this. So I eat double, sometimes maybe 3 times what you will eat. But the difference is what I eat and what you eat. So what you eat, your calories are already in one meal is enough in 3 of my meals. So that already covers you for almost the entire day. So again, it goes back to discipline. Do you feel you didn't have discipline when you were younger?
I mean, me from 0 to 19, I've been very healthy. Um, I've had, I've been fat twice before 19, and managed to lose the weight. I think maybe as I've gotten older and had some issues being hospitalized, but I wouldn't use that as an excuse, but it did hinder me. I'm not sure if I didn't get hospitalized, if I would have been fat. But after I came out of hospital, I did eat a lot of chocolates. My routine, I was going to something a couple of times a week. I did, I think the only time I was only eating chocolates and normal food that my mom was cooking, like carbohydrates, like rice and stuff. But I felt the weight come on very quickly and very fast. And I don't know if it's the medication, but I should have still by now, which I have tried to many times, lose the weight, and I have lost some. I should have persevered furthermore and lost it completely. I mean, I've been quite much more slimmer, like maybe once, probably 2 times. Probably average, I would say. I think it's just that final push that that was hard for me.
Okay. So I get it, and I do know that a lot of people do take medication for certain issues and all that. Sorry, folks, we're in a warehouse here. It's dark, so we get a few people on the other side. So if you hear that, that's coming from the background and all that. They're doing some work. This warehouse. This is the only place we can find where Pablo here is not being seen by anybody. But you mentioned, Pablo, about the fact that medication, yeah, because a lot of people that do go to hospitals, they do end up with medication, and the medication does affect their weight, but in a different kind of the way people normally think. The medication itself doesn't tell you what to eat. You actually eat. So yes, it may make you hungry. You may hold more water, but doesn't mean you can go to McDonald's and Subway every day, you know, and say, well, yeah, the medication made me do that. So the fact that you also lost the weight when you did something, you said something interesting. You actually lost the weight at some point, even while taking medication, because you follow a strict plan within 2 or 3 weeks. That shows consistency is everything. And what I mean by that is my whole life has always been like this. My family members that know me and many people that know me out there, they know I've been like this almost my entire life. That's called consistency. That means I stuck to it. When I got injured, when things came about, when, you know, loss of a family and such, I managed to stay the same way. Why? Because that's the structure I have in my mind. It comes back down to what you said about the mind. So I think for you, Pablo, it's about finding that way and you wanting to make that one change. The only way you will be consistent is to be able to follow instructions. So when you're told something, you have to do this, you'll do it. And I think that's the only way for you, from what you are telling me right now and telling everybody else out there, is that push. Because if I put a gun to your head right now and say, you will eat this, you will train it, you will do it. Right? But you don't have to wait for that drastic thing to be able to do something. Right now, there's help everywhere. There's gyms opening up like McDonald's. Right? There are people that help you, like myself. You get me? So the help is there. I think it's more about you wanting to make that change. That simple word, change, I think is the hardest thing for you.
Yeah, I think the hardest bit for me is to go consistently, like you said, because I feel I have gone before with you, and literally I would have done cardio and probably done even harder than you, cardio. But then the next day I fuck up, so I'm not consistent.
Right.
You know, I need to be more consistent. I need to, you know, every day on job, on point.
Put it this way, right? A good question for everybody out there at home and for you. If you were coming to the gym and I was at the gym, who is the one that has it harder, you or me? This is your opinion.
I feel like it's more pleasurable for you because, you know, all the eyes are on you.
So you think I have it harder, you do?
I think I feel better. I don't want to act like I'm dodging the question, so maybe I feel like I have it harder.
Okay. So you heard that, folks. He has it harder. Okay. But I'm going to turn it around now for that bit you just answered. For somebody to have it harder, you will have to have a different experience. So if you turn it around now, so yes, everybody knows me in the gym, even where I go, even right there on TV as they're looking, and they've seen me like this every damn time, that is 100 times harder. And the reason for that is because if we turn the tables around and I became you, then what? All eyes what? Will be on me, but not in the good way. So you can lose a few pounds here and there and people will say, okay, yeah, you lost a bit of pound. If I put on a few pounds and don't look as I normally do, I'm in trouble because all eyes will be on me for the wrong reasons. So you see the difference? You'll go to the gym, nobody will even notice you. Nobody. And I'm telling you this, and don't take it personally, anybody out there, nobody will notice you because they're not expecting anything from you. They already know, yes, it's a fat bloke coming into the gym. Go ahead, do your little cardio and all that. Sweat a little bit there. Try to lose some weight. That's it. They're not expecting anything. But the minute I start getting in there and changing and putting on weight and not caring about myself, everybody will be like, wait a minute, is that Elvis? Is that the king of poser? You get me? So the bottom line is, when somebody is consistent, they have a responsibility for everybody else. So it's almost like famous people. When famous people do something wrong, have you noticed all eyes on them? Every media out there. Millions of people do things wrong out there. Nobody gets hurt. As soon as somebody is known, you're in trouble. So you actually have it easy because you're hidden. Look, you have it easy right now. You're covered up. Nobody can see your face. Or who are you? Or your voice. They're seeing me. You understand? So that scenario, look at it that way. The hardest thing in life to be is a normality with everyday thing. Is the hardest thing in the world to keep a consistent profile. It's the hardest thing to do. And I think for you, it's about you then understanding that and try to learn that one. Look from the other side. Don't look at it as the problem you've got. Look at it for those that have made it and why they have to stay up there is not easy. Look at athletes. Athletes retire, at 30? I passed 30 a few years ago. I passed 30. So, and I'm still going, right? The minute I stop, trust me, you and everybody else will be like, hey, is that Elvis? You get me? So you have it easy. You just now got to work with that and think, wait a minute. And there's other people out there, even worse issues. I've seen people with missing limbs, going in the gym, training. I've seen people with guide dogs, going about their business, going to work, doing things. It's about understanding those people and saying to yourself, wow, I can do it too. If somebody can do it with a guide dog, with a missing limb, go to the gym, go to work, take care of themselves, then I can do it. That's the way I think you and everybody else should see it. Look at our kids. Don't you want kids?
Yeah.
Okay. My thing to you is, okay, so if you had a child now, you have them, they're, 1 year old, what would you have them do? You already know about life. What do you have them do? Would you say to them, right, you're going to try eating this, I need you to start doing exercise, or you're going to say, it's all right, here's a little game, which most parents do now. Here's a little game, enjoy yourself, I got things to do. Which one?
I think the one exercising.
Yeah. That's when it comes down to, that when you get those tests, and that's a test there, what if you then had a child? How would you want that child to be? So you almost have to do that for yourself to kind of use that acknowledgement and say, wait a minute, maybe if I look at life in a different way, I can figure out the answer. Because your situation that's in the millions now, all over the world, not just here in the UK, it's all over the world. People are crying out because, like you said, they don't want to do the work, they don't want to push themselves, they don't want structure. What time do you normally get up?
It varies a lot.
And that's a problem. And I will say this, and I will say this there for all of you, I get up at 4 o'clock every morning. 4 o'clock every morning, I can care less even if it's a weekend. I'm in the gym in the morning before work every day. Now, you may think that that's, but I like that. I like training, I compete. Yeah, I do. But what you don't realize is that's painful. But I know it's painful. You don't realize that. It's painful. It hurts my eyes, my body, everything. But I go through it because I know in the end, the results, but at the same time, it's that structure. It's about structure. I don't even need a clock to wake me up. You probably need a clock. You need a clock?
Yeah.
There you go. That's my point. So, do you think then, after this interview, I'm hoping some of you guys out there will ask the questions to Pablo here. So please feel free when you see this program, ask the questions, hopefully we can answer them. Do you think, Pablo, that Is it like normally people see overweight people with the excuses, no structures, and that they need a push, whether it's swearing at them, whether it's kicking them, or is it that they should be left alone? Which one? Do you prefer to be left alone or somebody to tell you off? Because that's a good one for you.
I think I prefer to be told off, but like, I don't know how to explain it, but like told off, I think there's no other way to tell off, but like, but also encouraged as well, I would say.
So you want to be told off. I'm guessing you're saying you want to be told off, but in a nice way. Like, here, get up at this time. Go for a walk if you can. Not, get the hell up, pour water in your face, and throw you right outside in the cold and start running.
Half and half, I would say. I say like, if I did a, a really good workout, to be for this to be repeated into words to me saying, oh, you did this, you did that, let's come tomorrow, let's try to do the same. Instead of like, let's come tomorrow and you're gonna do more. Like, try to keep it easier on the mind. I'm not saying let's do less, but what I'm saying is, because I've done, I remember on the cross training one time I did, I don't know, a lot of calories, a lot more, like I really went for it. I did more than you, but you are obviously are the weights man. But like, I would have liked to know on that day, like, oh, you did well, man. I'm actually proud of you. I can't believe you did that, even if it's a lie, because I feel it would help me.
Okay, you mentioned something there about a lie. Folks, remember this word, lie, right? Now, you're referring back again to a comfort saying. So if I said to you, yes, you probably did that faster than me, what is it, the cross trainer, whatever it was, or the rowing faster than me, that's fine. Remember, you have to put yourself in this. I'm a professional athlete, so I am up there, right? There's only a few of us in the world, right? Yes, you would have been able to say, well, for whatever reason, but if that little bit, it's not enough for the years I've spent, because the proof is always in the pudding, right? So another scenario about what you just said there, right, is that in life, the more you pamper people, the more they will fail. And society today has been showing that sorry, folks, we got cut off here. No, that our cameraman is a bit confused and all that, but it's all right. He might be going through some emotional baggage, so he's all right now. Yeah, thank you, cameraman. So let's get back into. So Pablo here was talking about basically wanting something nice to be told when he's done something right, right? Even if it's a lie. Now, this is a good point, Pablo, you made about the lie, right? I've always believed that I prefer to be told the truth than a lie, even if it's a white lie. And the reason for that is it will make me a better athlete. So if I played a sport and I wasn't good, the last thing I need to do is for any family member to say, oh, you were brilliant, all that. You didn't score, you couldn't even barely run, but you were good. No, right? Because what that does is makes me believe, remember that believe is the word, that I'm great. And then when I face some fearsome people, I'm in trouble, right? So I think those things do not work. All they do is pamper the person and isolate them from the real, proper athletes out there and those that are really working towards it. And that's why you have to know what pain feels like. So my training is the same way. in the morning. You have to know what that feels like. Get your ass up in the morning at 4 o'clock in the morning and train so you'll know what I go through. Even though you may think it's fun for me, it's not. It's just another pain. My body is in pain. It's been broken in so many parts and all that, but I'm still going. So the motivation of it has to do with me not trying to give up. In a sense, you're showing by the pampering that you may receive from others, family members or friends, all that does is weaken you. And it weakens anybody. You get me? So this is, I think, in your sense, that is where it's gone wrong. If you feel that somebody should tell you even a white lie can make you feel better. I'd rather be told there and then, no, you're not good enough, try this, or get better, train harder. So you train harder, you get better, you feel better. It's almost like giving me a job and saying, I'm going to give you a job and all that, because we need a Latino. You get me? What's the point of that? Give it to me because I deserve it, because I earned it. If you don't earn things, you get it.
Yeah, I get that, but like what I'm saying is, when I mentioned the term lie, I mentioned it a bit loosely, like as in, like I gave the example of the cross trainer. I did do well, so maybe put more emphasis, make not exaggeration, but like a bit more emphasis on that, to get me a bit more motivated. I feel like emphasis and if you give a dog a treat after he's done something, he knows, oh, I've done good, I'll do that again, that motivation. I think fat people like me need that positivity to keep going forward, like say if an obese person, is 10 minutes running, like a morbidly obese to 10 minutes running, if that was me and I was telling that morbidly obese person, I'd be like, wow man, you surprised me man, how did you do that? Like, let's try tomorrow do 11 minutes or, small stuff like that.
So what if, just to answer that one, what if then the next day they don't even show up? What should happen to them? Or you?
That's on them.
And on you?
Yeah.
Right. So you figure out the point. Not everybody, no matter how nice you are to them, because normally that's how it starts. People take the piss. So you may tell somebody the nicest thing in the world to help them get there. Like yourself. Oh, you're doing great. That was good. No, let's see how you do tomorrow. You won't even show up the next day. So that comfort you're talking about, that little motivation that's so pampering, is diminished because the person didn't show up. And this is what happens.
So if you were negative to them, do you think they would show up?
Yeah, I think they would. Because either you take their money, right? Or take a belonging to them, like their games or TV, and say, look, I'll take your TV away. How about that? It may sound extreme, but you will get the message. As if I turned around and said, oh, you didn't show up today. That's okay. Let's try tomorrow. Oh, you didn't show up the next day. That's all right. You'll get nowhere.
I get that's right. You shouldn't say that's okay about someone not turning up. But you should say it like this, that's not okay. But like try to understand what's going through their mind and try to find a solution rather than demonizing their failure. Because when we fail, we should like come back stronger or like try again. So like that person's in a hard situation, so why not try and make it, why not like stop making, like don't make it worse by by being a bit negative about it, but like try to be a bit more inspiring and
Well, the inspiring bit, as with all cases out there, was already started in the beginning, right? You have to look at it the other side. and think. The person, like you said, has already embarrassed themselves and yourself by putting on the weight. They inflicted that upon them. Not anybody else but them, right? We got that clear. So the embarrassment that they may feel, they've already done that to themselves. Would you agree?
The embarrassment that they made themselves sad.
Yeah. Or is it magic? They just happen to be overweight because they have big bones. You get me? So the whole idea is, because you're trying to actually say about that somebody should be nice to somebody else that's trying to lose weight, but it's not about that. It's about that niceness is given in the beginning right away with the person, family members or friends who are trying to help somebody that's overweight, stopping them from drinking too much, eating too much. If the person is unable to listen and take advice and structure, how else would somebody else deal with them besides hard love?
But what if the hard love doesn't work?
Then you're stuck where you are today. This is the problem with you and everybody else out there. Only a few people will come out of this if they're willing to take advice and follow instructions. Would you agree that you do not have a choice? Or you do?
About what?
Losing weight.
Do I not have a choice?
Do you have a choice?
I don't understand the question.
Right. So if you said to me right now, oh, I can lose weight, or I can look like you. Can you do that?
That's a theory. I feel if I did everything like you did, I could.
Prove it. And that's my point. You can't prove it. And if you cannot prove it, you don't have a choice. And if you don't have a choice, you have to take the advice that the person gives to you. You don't have a choice. If you had a choice, so if you turned it around and said to me, okay, Elvis, do you have choice on how you want to look? Yeah, I do, because I do the work. So if I wanted to, I can put on weight just like you. I have that choice. But I won't do it for what? Why should I hurt myself? It's about, so the choices that you're making has to do with the work that you put in. Have you put any work? No.
See, this is where I feel it's truth and it's being not true as well. It's harsh as well. Because I have before put in the work, and like I said, 2 times I've been at my slimmest. So I have tried to put in the work. So this is where it's a bit difficult.
Right. I've heard of trying, but once again, it goes back to consistent. Trying is consistent. You can try to do something one day and say, oh, look, I've eaten some salad for the day. I had a few people tell me that. Oh, look, Elvis, I ate salad. Wow. Let's celebrate. Woo! Right? It's not about that. It's not about you even going to the gym once, twice, 3 times. It's about making it, right? Kind of like religion. Making it a way of life, a lifestyle. So you don't have those baggage thinking mindset where you feel insecure about yourself, what you put on, that you're unable to put on a vest. Imagine going on holiday and you don't feel good about yourself, all because you didn't do the work. If I was on holiday, you'd be in trouble. Because if I'm coming towards you, you're in trouble. Because all you're going to think is, oh man, I should have trained. Like it's my fault. Imagine you and a few other people out there creating a problem for others. I'm becoming extinct like the dinosaurs. Even though I don't have dinosaur bones, I'm becoming extinct. Because it's not so many of ours. Why? Because we're putting the work. It's too much work for everybody. So I think for you and the people out there that are listening to this, it's about putting the work and the structure and following it. Even little kids and all that. People with little kids and all that need to start training them right now. Eating healthy, getting them used to that. We got too many supermarkets and fast food chains all over the place. And I think for you that you're older, since you're not a kid, it's more easier for you to follow it than they do because they're so young and all that. And obviously kids like the little treats and all that. But I think for you and others like you, if you guys were to step back, men and women, and say, ooh, maybe I should listen. Maybe I should stop thinking and listen and do what I'm told. Because that's what I would do. If I was in your situation, so you never asked me, what do I think? How would I feel? If I was in your situation, I would listen to every word I said. Simple as that. I can care less what I think. If I want to get there, because I want to get there. So if I turn it around, and I was sitting there where you are, covered up and all this, nobody will see me, which it will be impossible. But I would then say, go ahead, tell me, what do I need? Oh, I need to get up? What time? I'll get up. What time do I need to be in? I'll get up. I'll do it because I want it. And I don't think you and a few other people out there don't want it yet. Unless you can tell me something different. Can you?
I think the phrase I need to say to that is, I don't want it hard enough. I don't want it as much as I should.
So what are you waiting for then? So if you had, if you were diabetic right now, which you got to be on medication for life, and you might lose a limb, would that do? How would you answer that?
I think if I was diabetic and if I lose a limb, probably be worse.
So you still wouldn't try to reduce the amount of junk food and reduce the weight to stay healthy?
I think I would to an extent, but I feel I wouldn't surpass the expectation of, like I wouldn't surprise anyone by going gym. Like you see in the Instagram, those people, the amputees that have, very good body for the disability that they have. I don't think I would do that.
Then it goes back to your mindset. You're not ready or want to make that change. The most simplest word, and it's the hardest thing in the world. Because if you being diabetic, losing a limb, that doesn't move you, what's the next step? So that's the way you kind of got to see it. You have to think of something else apart from yourself, because you're mostly thinking about your own pleasure. That's what it sounds to me like. Your pleasures, the fun, not necessarily. You're kind of refusing to do the hard work. The hard work. The structure. The getting up. Sticking to it. Every day, every day, every day, every day, sticking to it. You prefer to think because of the arrogance that you mentioned before holds you back. And obviously laziness, which a lot of you are there.
I think the main issue is arrogance and laziness that I have. And that's probably what every fat person has.
Right. Okay, Pablo. Well, I thank you for that. You heard it before, arrogance and laziness. And you heard it here from somebody who's overweight. Has been overweight for a long time, folks. So I want to thank you, Pablo, for coming in today. Sorry we didn't get to see his face. Hopefully, within a year and all that, Pablo, if you stick to a plan I'll design for you, you can show your face to everybody. You'd be surprised. You might get a girl out there. So, folks, thank you very much for listening and all that. And please, hopefully you took some advice, but also the understanding of what overweight people go through. Anything is possible if you're willing to follow and stick to the plans. Even if you're lazy or arrogant, anything is possible. You get me? So take care. If you have any comments, anything you want to throw at me, let me know and just text me. Yeah? All right. We'll see you then. Take care and thank you, Pablo. All in the dark. And this kind of like a dungeon place. You get me?